Welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're journeying to a world of celestial magic and epic adventure.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, our listeners have given us excerpts from two books, Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior.
Both by Su Lin Tan.
Right, both by Su Lin Tan. So we'll be diving deep into the world of Xinjin and her extraordinary journey.
It's a story that just pulls you in. It's got those coming-of-age elements everyone loves, but with this backdrop of Chinese mythology.
Yeah, and magic and political intrigue. There's so much going on.
It makes you think about identity and sacrifice, too, you know? It's not just surface level.
Definitely not. So let's start with Xinjin. She's living this quiet life, totally oblivious to her true parentage.
And then bam, that visit from the Celestial Empress just changes everything.
Right. I mean, talk about a life-altering moment.
It's not just some random plot device either. It forces her to confront her lineage.
Oh, absolutely. The legacy of her mother, the Moon Goddess.
Who is, of course, imprisoned. That whole thing with the Empress's reaction to Xinjin's flute playing.
Yeah. It's like she recognizes a melody tied to the Moon Goddess.
Exactly. Adds a layer of mystery right from the start.
So many secrets. And it pushes Xinjin to flee her home, journey to the Celestial Kingdom.
It's like Alice in Wonderland, but with a celestial twist.
I was just thinking that. Celestial palaces, magical beings.
And just like Alice, she has to learn the rules of this new world.
Which isn't all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Definitely not. Despite all the glitz and glamour, the Celestial Kingdom is full of prejudice.
We see that in how they treat Xinjin because of her hidden lineage.
Yeah, and even beyond that, the whole social structure is so rigid.
So much power play. And it's in this world that Xinjin starts discovering her powers.
The Skyfire magic, right. Super rare and powerful.
But what makes it different from the other magic we see?
Well, it's directly tied to her lineage. It's like a gift from the Moon Goddess.
Ah, so it's more instinctual.
Yeah. Not like the other magic that seems more
the technique.
Exactly. Skyfire emerges when Xinjin's emotions are heightened, raw power.
Which makes sense, considering her talent for archery, too.
Oh, and the way the Jade Dragon Bow reacts to her?
It's more than just skill, right?
That bow's steeped in myth and legend. They say celestial warriors used it.
And it seems to choose its wielder?
Only those with a specific lineage. Or destiny.
Like it's tied to Vinjin's heritage.
A visual reminder that her path is, well, kind of chosen for her.
And on top of all that,
yeah,
the love triangle.
Yeah.
Prince Luwei, totally drawn to Xinjin.
Even though he's betrothed.
Then there's Wenzi, a skilled warrior, adding to the drama.
It's not just romance, though. It reflects Xinjin's internal conflicts.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like Li Wei represents the world she's been thrust into.
The Celestial Kingdom, with all its rules.
A path to acceptance. But maybe she has to sacrifice who she really is.
And then Wenzi, he's more rebellious.
Defying the norms.
He sees the darkness in the Celestial Kingdom.
So they each represent different paths for Xinjin.
Exactly. And it's not just about who she loves, it's about power.
Oh, right. Alliances, the whole political scene.
Her romantic choices could change everything.
So much at stake. And of course, we have the betrayal. Wenzi deceives her.
Steals the dragon pearls. Breaks her trust.
Such a pivotal moment. It shatters any sense of safety she might have had.
But his motives are complex. It's not just pure villainy.
You think there's more to it?
Oh, absolutely. A conflict of loyalties, desperation. He makes choices that hurt Xinjin.
It's interesting, even the betrayals have layers.
It makes you question, is anyone truly good or evil?
Speaking of complex character, the Empress.
Oh, she's not just some figurehead. She's pulling the strings.
Actively manipulating everything. Is it personal for her?
She understands the allure of power and how it corrupts.
She's protecting her own interest, even if it hurts others.
Driven by fear, ambition, maybe even a desire for revenge.
Wow, even in a realm of celestial beings.
It's the human element that makes it so captivating.
Absolutely. And then there's that glimmer of hope. Xinjin reunites with her father.
Hui, the legendary archer. Poignant, but sad.
He doesn't even recognize her at first.
Time has changed him. He chose a mortal life, you know?
It's a stark contrast to Xinjin's quest for immortality.
It's like she's seeing the other side of the coin.
Questioning her own pursuit of eternal life.
Maybe realizing there's beauty in the finite.
It adds another layer to her journey. It's not just about rescuing her mother anymore.
She's understanding her parents, their choices, their legacy.
It all comes back to family in the end.
That's the core of it. The bonds, the secrets, the complexity.
Before we move on to Heart of the Sun Warrior, we have to talk about the laurel tree.
Not just a symbol of home, is it?
It's connected to Xinjin's family and the Moon Goddess's sorrow.
It's so powerful. The laurel is resilient.
Like the Moon Goddess, enduring hardship, yet still thriving.
A reminder that even in suffering, there's potential for growth.
And that connection between the tree and the Moon Goddess's sorrow.
It's tied to Xinjin's powers.
So it's not just brute strength, right? There's empathy there.
a deep understanding of suffering.
Maybe even the capacity to heal.
The laurel represents Singin's heritage, the emotional weight she
It adds so much depth to her character.
Daughter of the moon goddess is captivating. It blends myth, magic, and raw human emotion.
We've covered so much ground, but Singin's journey is far from over.
In the next part, we'll dive into Heart of the Sun Warrior.
The aftermath of the final battle, her quest to free her mother, and even bigger challenges.
Get ready for more twists and turns. It's just the beginning.
So stay tuned as we journey deeper into the Celestial Kingdom.
Heart of the Sun Warrior picks up with Singin trying to deal with everything that's happened.
She's a hero, right? But that victory, it came at a price.
Yeah, a heavy one.
Yeah.
There's this sense of loss, and she still has that huge task ahead.
Freeing her mother. I mean, that was the deal with the Emperor.
Exactly. But the dragon pearls, their essence is gone.
What now? How can she possibly do it?
It's a real dilemma. The pearls are basically useless now.
So she has to get creative.
She has to think outside the box, and that's where the mythology is in.
I'm intrigued. Tell me.
Sinjin has to journey to the realm of the dragon.
Whoa, that sounds tense.
It's a place shrouded in mystery, steeped in ancient lore.
So it's not just a physical challenge.
No, it's a test of her resourcefulness, I guess.
She has to prove herself worthy.
Not with brute force, but with her wit, diplomacy.
Respect for tradition.
All of that. And on top of that, she discovers her father is alive.
Wait, what? I mean, we know he chose mortality.
Right, but their reunion, it's heartwarming, but so sad.
What happens?
He doesn't even recognize her at first.
Oh, wow. That's heavy.
It really shows how time has affected him.
And how their paths have diverged.
Yeah, he's lived a full life, a mortal one.
Something Sinjin, in her pursuit of immortality, can't fully grasp.
It's not just a reunion, it's about understanding.
Their different choices, their different experiences of life.
And through those interactions with her father, Sinjin starts to question things.
Like her own desire for immortality.
Exactly. She sees the beauty, the fragility of a mortal life.
Maybe, in trying to free her mother, she's also seeking freedom for herself.
Freedom from all those expectations, the weight of destiny.
I hadn't thought about it like that. That's really interesting.
And the love triangle, it gets even more complicated.
Oh, here we go. What happens with Liu Wei?
Well, his feelings for Shinjin resurface.
But he's betrothed, right?
And now he's imprisoned by his own father.
What?
Accused of treason just because of his connection to Sinjin.
Talk about an overprotective dad.
It shows how paranoid the emperor is.
So much distrust.
And how power can corrupt,
Right.
He sees Sinjin as a threat.
Not just because of who she is, but what she represents.
A challenge to his authority.
So Liu Wei, even as crown prince, he's trapped.
Torn between his duty and his heart.
It's a classic dilemma, but still so compelling.
Yeah. And through all this, we see Li Wei's character grow.
He's more than just a charming prince.
He's got this sense of justice, compassion. He's willing to stand up for Shinjin.
Even if it means defying his father.
Even if it risks everything.
Wow. Okay, so what about Wenzi?
His motives are still kind of murky.
Yeah, he's always been a bit of a wild card.
But he seems to want to help Shinjin.
Can she trust him after what happened?
That's the question, isn't it?
It's hard to forget that betrayal.
Wenzi's character is fascinating, though,
How so?
He's got this internal struggle going on between darkness and, his feelings for Shinjin.
Like he wants to redeem himself.
Yeah, I think so. Earn back her trust.
But you never know what he might do.
That's what keeps us guessing. And just when you think things can't get more intense...
Wingham returns. Oh, he's bad news.
Talk about raising the stakes. It's like he's this force of nature.
Chaos and ambition all rolled into one.
His return really forces Shinjin to face the consequences.
Of everything that went down in the first book.
Yeah, and his desire for power. It's rooted in loss and resentment.
So he's not just a villain for the sake of being a villain.
There's this strange, almost sympathetic element to him.
I see what you mean.
Absolutely.
Like he's driven by his pain.
Exactly, but that doesn't excuse his cruelty, obviously.
Especially towards Pinger. That was brutal.
It shows how fragile life is, and how even in a celestial realm there's dark.
It's a stark reminder that innocence is often a casualty in power struggle.
And through all of this, Shinjin's character keeps evolving.
She's not just facing external threats.
No, she's battling her own inner demons.
Wow, that's a powerful image. So what about the laurel tree?
It becomes even more important in this book.
It's not just about home anymore.
It's a source of power. It's connected to the moon goddess's sorrow.
It can heal, but it can also destroy.
Like Shinjin herself, this duality of nature.
Light and shadow.
True strength is understanding both, accepting both.
So the laurel tree is a metaphor for Jinjin's journey.
And for all of us, really. We all have that capacity for good and bad within us.
And ultimately, that's what she has to face in her final confrontation with Wugong.
It's epic. The scope, the emotion, everything is heightened.
She realizes defeating him requires a sacrifice.
A sacrifice greater than she could have imagined.
And it changes her forever.
Tan doesn't shy away from the hard parts of sacrifice.
The moral ambiguity, the weight of those choices.
It's not a simple decision for Xingjin,
It's born out of desperation.
and a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of life and death.
So much happened. But what about the fallout? What about the aftermath?
That's what we're going to dive into in the final part.
The resolution of everything, the fates of the characters.
And all those lingering questions about sacrifice, love, and freedom.
So much happened in that final battle. Wugong is defeated, the immortal realm is safe, but
But Xingjin, she's really struggling with what it took to get there.
that sacrifice, losing her immortality, the connection with Wenzi.
It's like, she won, but at what cost? It's a Pyrrhic victory.
Yeah, you're right. And Wenzi gave up his own immortality to save her.
It adds this whole other layer of complexity to their relationship.
They have so much history. The love, the betrayal, the trauma.
It's a testament to Tan's writing that she doesn't give them a simple end.
And the Celestial Kingdom, it's in chaos too, right?
The Emperor's lost a lot of his authority, his true nature exposed.
Li Wei, even though he's loyal, he's kind of isolated now.
Power can shift so quickly, and it doesn't always end up in the right hands.
Then there's that demand from the King of the Cloud Wall.
He wants Xingjin to marry Wenzi to secure his support.
It's a power play, for sure. But for Xingjin,
It's personal. She has to confront her feelings.
for both Li Wei and Wenzi, she's at a crossroads.
Two men, two paths, two completely different futures.
And just when you think it can't get more complicated.
Wen Shuang, Wenzi's brother, he's plotting to take over.
Oh no, another power grab.
Yeah, he's ruthless. He'll betray anyone to get what he wants.
It's that unchecked ambition.
Total opposite of Wenzi, who ultimately chooses love and loyalty.
There's that scene in the Cloud Wall Palace during Wen Shuang's attack.
Oh, I remember that. Chaos everywhere.
Xingjin's Li Wei and Wenzi trapped,
It's a fight for survival.
and she makes a difficult choice.
Kills Wen Shuang to protect the others.
Wow, it's a turning point.
It changes her relationship with Li Wei, but it strengthens her bond with Wenzi.
They understand the weight of that sacrifice.
It's a reminder that sometimes good people have to do bad things.
And then, just when you think they can breathe,
Lady Shi enters the picture.
the sun god, what's she doing there?
She wants revenge.
For her sons, the 9 sunbirds.
The ones who he killed, remember?
Talk about holding a grudge.
She's a force of nature, consumed by grief.
And it's in facing Lady Shi that Xingjin makes her final choice.
She realizes it's not about more power.
It's about letting go.
Everything she holds dear.
It's the culmination of her journey.
She's learned so much about sacrifice, about love, about life and death.
It's a bittersweet ending, but there's hope.
Xingjin chooses a mortal life with Wenzi.
They leave the celestial realm.
Embrace the world below, which is kind of unexpected.
Yeah, it's not a traditional happy ending.
It's more nuanced, more realistic.
It's about the journey, the connections we make.
The choices that shape us.
We close the book on this epic saga, but it leaves you with so much to think about.
The questions linger. What is freedom? What does it mean to sacrifice?
How do we deal with loss?
These are themes that everyone can relate to.
Daughter of the Moon Goddesses and Heart of the Sun Warrior.
They take you beyond the fantasy, make you think about what it means to be human.
To love, to lose, to find your place in this world.
They stay with you, make you think.
Remind you of the power of hope. That's the beauty of a good story.
We've just scratched the surface, really.
There's so much to uncover in Su Lin Tan's books.
Explore the world, draw your own conclusion.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a journey.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and until next time, keep diving deep.